This is Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with Shelby Jo Long, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Shelby Jo Long.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Shelby Jo Long. I'm Senior Vice President of the Strategic Advisor Board and CEO of Rogue Publishing Partners. And here today, we're going to have a discussion about ebooks and how important they are for your business and how important they are for your marketing. And there's so many ins and outs and specifics about the format of ebooks that we might not know about, that now we have this expert panel in the publishing industry to be able to talk about what an ebook can do for your business. As far as my background is concerned, I come from the education background. I'm a college professor. I've been there for 16 years, and I have seen a transition just in the past few years about how more textbooks are moving to online and moving to ebook format because of the accessibility, because it saves money for students, because there is a way that we can consume that information, and particularly when things moved online during the pandemic, became a lot easier to engage with students in that way. I see it in academia, but I also see it with a lot of businesses. As a business consultant, I know that many business consultants try to use an ebook as a way to get their genius and their expertise out into the world so people know what they're talking about. And they have a publication under their name, and they can use those ebooks as almost a digital business card to let people know about what their business is about or give people some sort of background and format for it. So ebooks, I feel, are really becoming a digital stamp of professionals, business professionals that want to get their ideas out into the broad spectrum and to draw more people into them. So a lot of people are using ebooks as a lead generation tool and a marketing tool to be able to draw leads into their business. I'm excited about the discussion today, having just published a book myself and having these folks help me through a publishing process and understanding that there is a difference between your manuscript that goes into a hardback book and your manuscript that goes into an ebook, and we'll learn about that through the conversation. But first, I'm going to ask my co-director, Scott Sery, to talk about what an ebook can do for your business and how it can help you with Google searches and help your SEO. So, Scott, welcome to the podcast. Let's hear about your perspective.
Thanks. So the ebook is going to help. Not really that you're going to have your entire ebook searchable by Google, because if it's searchable by Google, anyone could just go and download it and steal it, essentially. Unless that's your whole point, you just want to give it all away and you just want to drive traffic to your website. The ebook will add hundreds of pages of content to your website that's all scannable and all searchable by Google and the other search engines that nobody actually uses. The other way it's going to help is when you have it published and you have it hosted on places like Barnes & Noble and Ingram Sparks and Amazon and anyone else that hosts an ebook. The way Google looks at your websites is, my own website, even though it's 10 years old, hundreds of pages of content on it, is about this big compared to Barnes & Noble's thousands upon thousands of pages of content. Google looks at Barnes & Noble and all these other guys, and they say these are authorities in their sphere. Barnes & Noble is known for books and book publishing. Anything that has to do with books and book publishing, we respect that, and we're going to rank that higher when somebody's searching because we know they're putting out good information. Your little website that might be a year or two old and all it does is promote your book, Google has no idea what you actually do. They don't know if it's scammy. They don't know if it's spammy. And so when somebody searches for Scott Sery or Shelby Jo Long and they're looking for your book, Barnes & Noble hosting that book and having your name and your information on it will come up sooner and give you more publicity through them, kind of piggybacking off of their authority. Whereas your website will come up eventually. It'll take a whole lot longer to get there. So the ebook can help boost recognition of your name and your book just by piggybacking off of all these different hosts that are much more authoritative.
Absolutely. That's so important for people to remember when they're thinking about publishing their own book and they're thinking about publishing an ebook, and having to navigate that process is where, yes, you're marketing your piece, but you have to be able to market your book in a place where people are going to recognize it. And it's just important to remember those things. The process is it's convoluted because there's so many different steps that you need to follow to go through all of those things. And it's important to remember to affiliate your book on those sites, not just put the PDF up where it can be most easily accessible. You'll get a lot more authority. You'll get a lot more ground in Google searches and a lot more credibility when you publish on those sites. So next, we're going to talk to Michelle. Michelle White is a book designer, helped me transform my manuscript into multiple different places and helped me get the ebook together. Michelle, I'm excited to hear from you about the process and the design piece and why having that clear design is so important in your ebook.
Hi. The main thing for your ebooks is before you can have one created, you have to know whether you're going to do a fixed layout ebook or a auto flow ebook. The difference is a fixed layout ebook is more like a PDF. Everything is on the page exactly where it was in the print book. So when somebody is looking through the ebook, they're paging through page by page, the same as in the print book. What they can't do is they have to zoom in, say it's a picture to look at if they wanted the type to be bigger, for example. But the advantages to that is it looks just like it. Like, let's say you want to do a cookbook or something with a lot of pictures. Sometimes textbooks are fixed layout just because it maintains the design, the original design in the ebook. On the other hand, if you want your book to be most accessible on as many devices as possible, you want to have it in auto flow. What that means is it's essentially like a web page where you scroll down the web page. It's like text, picture here, text, picture, in that order. Everything, it's very linear. That's probably the best way to describe it. And that's what most people go with. The thing with that is it's not going to look exactly like your print book. You have to sort of have the ebook done a little bit differently design-wise because the fonts are limited and the sizes and spacing between items, it works completely differently than it does in the print on a print page because nothing is static. It's all flowing, just like a web page. You know how if you're looking at a web page and if you're looking on a screen and you reduce your screen on your desktop or laptop, it reconfigures the information. Or if you make the screen bigger, it just reflows it. That's what an auto flow ebook will do. I mean, you're not reducing in size the screen, but you may want your type a little bit bigger because you have trouble seeing it in small print, that kind of thing. So you need to be concerned with your design in that aspect, but keep in mind that your ebook is not going to look exactly like your print book. It's going to have a little bit of a different design. It can have the same kind of feel, but it's not going to, your pictures aren't going to flow in the exact same positioning. That said, if you want to, you can just upload your manuscript and convert that to an ebook. It works. It'll open up on all the different e-readers if you convert it properly, and it's readable. However, if you want your book to be optimized for the ebook, you really need to have it specifically designed and not just the text in your Word document. This way, the information is organized. There's a clickable table of contents in the ebook. So if you ever read ebooks, there's a menu where you click and you see what's in the table of contents, and you can click and go right to that page. And then if you change your mind, you can click and go back to the table of contents. All of those interactivity things are programmed into the ebook. And if you're just exporting a text document, you may not get all that functionality, and it's going to look amateurish. The fonts are going to come up with the default, and it's just, you're not going to be presenting yourself in the best way possible with your ebook. So these are just some of the things that you have to consider when it comes to design. You need to hire somebody who knows how to do ebooks and has done ebooks, before. Take a look at some of the ebooks that they've done and see how they function, so that you can be confident that you've chosen the right person.
Thank you, Michelle. Every time I hear you talk about book design and all of the specific elements that go into it, it just amazes me, the technique and all the specific details that go into book design, that I, as an author, don't necessarily have time to go through all of those things and understand all of those things. And it makes such a difference to have a designer, an expert designer like yourself, take care of those things and think about how that looks on the page. And because that presentation and the design makes a big difference when it comes to your authority and your credibility and the message that you want to send. It all comes in a package. So thank you for talking about those differences and what we need to think about when we're publishing our ebook. But finally, let's hear from Susie Schaeffer, who is my publisher and also a fellow director in the Rogue Publishing Partners, that can talk to us about the process of this ebook conversion and some really important tips that we need to know about this. So Susie, go ahead.
Thanks, Shelby. I'm Susie Schaeffer, founder of Finish the Book Publishing, and also one of the Rogue Publishing Partners, founding partners, director, whatever you want. Big thanks to both Scott and Michelle, because they really gave a lot of great information about ebooks. What I'm going to mention here is that you need to also consider which platform you're going to publish your ebook on. Like Scott mentioned, you can publish it right on your website. However, when you look at platforms such as KDP, which is Amazon's print-on-demand service, or Ingram Spark, which feeds to other retailers and bookstores, those platforms are huge. So people have an easier way of finding you. So that's really important. The other thing is that you can link, for example, your ebook and your paperback book together when you publish on those platforms. So KDP is Amazon. So they use specifically Kindle, which is a version of ebooks. Ingram Spark also feeds to other bookstores such as Barnes and Noble, but Ingram Spark is also where book buyers and libraries will go when they're looking for new content and to purchase or order books. So it's important that you understand what each of those platforms does and who they feed to as far as how they get your book out into the world, so that you can develop your own marketing plan on, and make this strategic as far as how you're launching your book. There's other platforms as well. There's Draft to Digital, there's Smashwords, there's BookBaby. There are other platforms as well. So it's important to understand, or at least work with somebody who does understand what each of those platforms offers and how they work together or against each other. One of the things that I recommend when I work with my authors is to, first of all, publish your ebook on KDP. So it's a Kindle, okay? I like this because Amazon is the biggest bookseller in the world. So why not put your best foot forward and make sure that you've got your paperback and your ebook on Amazon when you launch? The other thing is that you can use what's called KDP Select, which is specifically for ebooks. And it's like Prime, how you have a membership and you get a bunch of stuff for free with your membership on Prime. KDP Select is the back end for their service with Kindle Unlimited, meaning that the members of Kindle Unlimited pay a monthly membership fee and they get as many ebooks as they want. So when you understand how these systems work together, it can really help you boost your rankings and get you in front of more people. So my recommendation is, when you first publish your ebook, that you put it into KDP Select. It's a 90-day enrollment. So you have to be enrolled for 90 days. And the disclaimer is that you're exclusive to KDP, which is perfectly fine. I like to do that to promote the author and get the ebook out there. And then at the end of that 90 days, what we'll usually do is come out of KDP Select still be on Amazon, but no longer be enrolled in the KDP Select system, and then publish the ebook on a second platform, whether that's Draft to Digital. On Smashwords is a great one too, because Smashwords feeds to all the retailers. But you can find a second platform so that your book is now accessible to, for example, Apple Books, Sony, Kobo, and all the others. So it's just understanding how these different platforms work together or work against each other, and the timing of that. That can also help you with all of your marketing too, just having that understanding of how those things work. So the last thing I want to mention too is that in today's world, most people are what we call hybrid readers. So that means that, for example, I love to take a physical book when I go to the beach. There's something about sitting there on the beach, reading an actual physical book. When I actually read at night, usually I do most of my reading at night, I'm usually using my e-reader, my Kindle, because it's easier on my eyes and I can size the font like Michelle mentioned earlier. So when you look at the way people read today, some people may read on their computers, some people may read on their phones. So this is what we mean by hybrid readers, is that people will read books in multiple different formats. So it is important to have your book not only in a paperback, but also in an ebook, so that you're maximizing the ability to reach those readers. I think that's it.
Absolutely. Such important information from publisher to be able to understand all of those different elements that are required. Again, every time I hear Susie talk, I understand how important it is to have an expert publisher in your arsenal when you go to publish your book, because of all of these opportunities that we might not know about if we're just putting our book up online. So this was a great discussion today about, first of all, what an ebook can do for your business and your marketability, especially when it comes to you getting your book out, getting your ideas out, how important it is. But then second, how important a design is and how important it is to know where to put those things. And always, it is easiest to publish a book when you are surrounded by a community of experts. And that's what we are here at Rogue Publishing Partners. We're a community of publishing experts that help really take your book and your business to the next level, because we have that comprehensive overview. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you and continue giving you this information about publishing and how important it is for your business, but then also how important it is to be surrounded by experts to help you move your book into the next space. So I am excited to talk to you all again, Rogue Publishing Partners, and I'm excited to also provide you with this information the next time. So we'll talk to you next time when we give you more unique and specific publishing information for next time. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with your host, Shelby Jo Long. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.